What's up and welcome back to my channel. All right, so today we're going to talk about something that everybody is talking about because it's unavoidable to talk about. We're going to talk about the untimely death of Daunte Wright. And yes, I did say untimely because I am not going to say that it is not sad that this young man lost his life at a young age. It is incredibly sad that I found out he has I think a daughter who is very, very young, who will no longer have her father. It is incredibly sad that his parents are now having to grieve the loss of their son. However, okay, I needed to make this video because I am sick and tired of the lies. I am sick and tired of the lies. I am sick and tired of the lack of accountability, okay, from people who are the ones that need to be doing the work to fix the problems that they say exist. And I'm going to tell you why that is in just a second. I'm sick and tired of the media, these talk shows, just painting an ever so perfect picture of a victim who was just driving down the street and got pulled over because he had air fresheners hanging from his window. So I'm going to clarify a few things for you, okay? And I'm going to give you my 2 cents on this issue. And until this, trial gets started, I'm probably not going to talk about this much further because, if people refuse to see what is going on here, I can't help you. Okay, so I'm going to do my very best in this video to help you. And then after that, I'm done. Okay, so Daunte Wright, as I stated, he lives in Minneapolis, Minnesota, not far from where George Floyd was also shot. I'm sorry, not shot. He was allegedly choked by Derek Chauvin, the police officer that was arresting him. That's a trial that's currently going on as well. But he initially, it was told in the media that he was driving down the street. He got pulled over by the police because he had expired tags, and the police officers went up to his window, took his driver's license, needed his insurance, at which time he realized he didn't have his insurance, so he called his mom. He was on the phone with his mom when the police officers came back to the car, advised him that they were going to be putting him under arrest because once they ran his information in their system, they found that he had a warrant out for his arrest. And at which point you see in a video that I'll link below, I'm not going to play much of the video, I might put a little clip in here. You see in a video, he gets out of the car, the officer puts him up against the car. Mind you, if you want to go and look at the very technical aspect of how these officers handle themselves, go to Brandon Tatum's channel. He does an excellent breakdown of the police tactics there. Okay, but I'm not an expert on that, so I'm not going to talk about that. But they put him up against the car and they start to handcuff him, at which point Mr. Wright struggles a little bit with the officer, attempting to get away, gets in the car. Another officer who we now know, and her name escapes me at the moment, but she was the training officer that was supervising the officer that was actually conducting the arrest, comes up to assist. You hear her yell, "I'm gonna tase you." Then she yells, "Taser, taser, taser," which is a very customary thing that they're trained to do. She goes to reach for what she thinks is her taser, and she pulls out her weapon and shoots Mr. Wright. And he drives off in his car, gets into a wreck, and dies at the scene. Now, not a lot of people are talking about this part of it, but and I do know that, like, if you get shot in the stomach area, it's a very bad place to get shot. But I would be really, really curious to know if the shot is what actually took his life, because we don't know exactly where he was shot just yet, or if the adrenaline of the moment and the actual car accident that he got into shortly after he drove off the scene is what ultimately caused his death. And the reason why I say that is because I am watching every single minute of this Derek Chauvin trial, and they've had quite a few medical experts really testify to how your body reacts under stress, how your blood pumps, how your adrenaline pumps, how all that comes together to sometimes create a perfect storm that can ultimately result in your death. Now, in George Floyd's case, it was a breathing issue, right? But we all know that when you are in an adrenaline situation, in a fight or flight situation, your blood is pumping, okay? If you have an open wound in your body, you could potentially bleed out as a result of that. So nobody has yet brought that up. So you're hearing this theory here first, and I'm just going to put it here. Again, I have no medical knowledge. I have no knowledge where he was shot, but I'm just putting that out of here just in case it comes out later that the shot would not have been fatal had he just stayed on scene and allowed them to administer, first aid to him, after realizing that she mistakenly shot him. Okay. Now I want to go back to the reason he got pulled over. Okay. I am like, I cringe every time I watch a YouTube video of people on talk shows or news people, or even his lawyers, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, the usual suspects, all talking about how he was pulled over just because he had expired registration, and because of COVID, people aren't able to get their registration and people shouldn't die over that, okay? I agree if that were the case, but let me point out something, okay? Number one, we don't know how expired his registration is. He could have had registration that was 2 years old, 3 years old. We don't know that, okay? We don't know that. So number one, that's one thing. Number two, okay, they still have the legal right to pull you over and give you a warning. Now, real quick, digressing back to the whole topic of the air fresheners hanging in his window, I did look up the law in his area, and it is illegal to have things hanging in your window. So if that was the initial, reason that he got their attention, they had every right to do that. They had every right to do that, okay? But had he just had expired registration, he would have gotten a warning ticket and he would have been on his way. It would have been no big deal. However, when they ran his information in the system, and this is the part that these shows and these activists and these people that are whining in the street about this don't talk about, he had a warrant for his arrest. And the funny part is, okay, is the reason why he had the warrant, and I'm going to go into what his charges were, by the way, is because he did not appear for his court date, which was online, okay? It wasn't even that he had to go to a court house, okay? He just had to log into a Skype meeting and attend this, and he didn't, okay? Now, a lot of you are saying, well, did you hear that, they mailed it to the wrong address, whatever. Okay, enough with the excuses, you guys. If I have the charges that I'm about to read to you, okay, when you get a basic ticket, they tell you, expect to get something in the mail with your court date within this amount of days. The ticket itself says that, okay? If you're a responsible person, you read that in detail and you are looking for that notice in the mail because you don't want to have a warrant out for your arrest, okay? But let me tell you why Mr. Wright probably wasn't looking for that court date, okay? He's not a law-abiding citizen. He's not somebody that's going to strike you as somebody who wants to, follow the rules, okay? So let's go into his arrest record. When the officers ran his information in the system, they found that he had a felony warrant, okay? First degree attempted aggravated robbery, okay? So that means that you either had a weapon when you robbed somebody, or you had an accomplice when you robbed somebody, or you had both, okay? So it turned out that he robbed a woman at gunpoint for, I believe, $820, okay? He robbed her at gunpoint. Him and another person robbed them at gunpoint. And I'm gonna try to find a link to the court papers, and I'll put them in the description box below as well. But he was also caught with possession of a gun after that first arrest, which violated his probation. So he had a second offense, okay? Now, I posted on my social media a video of him with this gun, and I cannot tell you how many people were in my comments talking about, well, you're a Second Amendment person and you claim to love guns, and he has every right to that. Okay, here's the thing. If you look at the video, he's smoking a blunt, okay? In the second video, he is holding a bottle of Hennessy, with the gun hanging out of his pocket. So if you know anything about the law, you know that your rights to have a weapon go out the window when you have drugs, either in your system or around you or whatever the case may be. Okay, so that argument is out the window. Okay, so he had a possession of a gun which violated his initial probation. In June of 2020, he also ran from the officer that was trying to get him when they found him with the gun and they realized he didn't have a permit to have that gun. So apparently in his state, you have to have a permit to be carrying a gun, and he didn't have that. So guess what he did? He took off and ran. So that first time, so Mr. Wright is no stranger to running from the law, but that first time that he ran, he didn't get shot. Okay, apparently they just let him go, I guess. But in 2019 and 2020, he pleaded guilty to 2 petty misdemeanors involving disorderly conduct, also sale and possession of marijuana. His father also mentioned in an interview that he dropped out of high school 2 years prior to graduating, and again, has a son. Okay, so again, dropping out of high school, having a son, not illegal. Poor choices, yes, but not illegal. Okay. But I say all this to let you guys know that this young man wasn't innocent. Did he deserve to die at the hands of a police officer who made a very, very fatal mistake? No, he did not. Okay. But the chances are, with the lifestyle that this kid was leading, it was bound to catch up to him at some point. Now, I'm not saying that that was going to result in death. Okay. But when I watched the press conference with his family and Benjamin Crump, and even George Floyd's ex-girlfriend was there because it turns out she was his teacher at some point, they were crying that he was such a good boy, had such a good heart, had made everybody's lives so great. Okay. This is the thing about it. Okay. The problem is not skin color. The problem is your poor choices. The problem is the environment that you are growing in. The problem are your parents who don't hold you accountable for what you are doing. Okay. Let me just, I'm a mother. Okay. Let me just say something to you. If I had a son that had a felony warrant for first-degree attempted robbery, okay, hadn't gone to his court date, had a warrant out for his arrest, ran from the police, was smoking weed, was waving guns around in videos, I wouldn't gift him with a car. And she stood up there on the news and she said, I just gave him this car. Why? Why? Okay. Why do you give a car to a kid? And I say a kid, now people will be like, well, he's 20 years old. No. He's acting like a little boy. He acts like a little boy. Your age, I tell this to my kids all the time, your age means nothing to me. Okay. How responsible you are with your life is what makes you an adult. If you had to ask your mama for money to go down the street to go wash your car, you're not an adult. You are not an adult. And that's exactly what he was doing, okay? His mom, out of her own mouth, said, he asked me for money to go to the car wash, okay? Because his concern is making sure his ride is clean. So when he's rolling down the street with the blunt in his mouth and the gun hanging out of his pocket, he needs to make sure his rims look good because that's his priority. I wonder how many times he's asked his mother for money to help him pay the child support he probably owes his baby's mama. Okay, that's the other thing. They had baby mama up there making her look like she was just missing out on Father of the Year. Honey, I don't mean for this to sound cruel, but life did you a favor. I don't think, okay, that your son is going to miss out on any important life lessons losing a father with the character of Daunte Wright. And I know that everybody's going to get upset with me and they're going to say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're such an evil person and you don't care and blah, 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 blah. Stop focusing on me. Stop focusing on the police. Focus on yourself and ask why. Why is the media trying so hard to lie to you about the facts? Why does his family stand up there and lie to you about the facts? Okay, I would have so much more respect. I would be behind this family 1000% if they got up there and they said, you know what? Our son didn't lead the best life. He made his mistakes. He took his risks in life. But what this officer did to him was unfair. But you know what? I can't focus on that. I can't focus on that because there's people looting Foot Lockers and looting Dollar General stores, okay? And cigarette stores and alcohol stores, all in the name of justice, okay? So I can't focus on the justice because there's all this bullshit going around that has nothing to do with anything, that's not gonna fix anything. And until people recognize what they can be doing better, nothing is going to change. If you're waiting for the government to provide you with some huge solution to the problems in the Black community, you are going to be waiting forever because the government doesn't care. They want the Black community to fail because they make money with it. The media wants the Black community to fail because they get ratings from all the bullshit that they videotape and put on their news channels, showing people beating each other up, killing each other, robbing stores, acting a fool. That's ratings for them. You guys are entertainment to them. Okay, so stop focusing on that shit and focus with what you could do to make your life better. Don't wait on 10 people or 20 people or 50 people or 1,000,000 people to come and fix your life for you. You do it. And stop blaming everybody else for your problems. I am sick of it, okay? Every single human life is from God. Every single human life. But it is up to God and God only on how that life exits this world. Okay? Now, I have a personal belief that everybody here has a job to do. And if you don't get about the business of doing what God created you to do, he's going to take you back and he's going to say, you know what? You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time here on earth. You're not doing what I created you to do. You're not being the greatness that I created you to be. So I'm taking you back. Maybe I need to put you back in the rinse cycle. Maybe I need to give you another lesson. I don't know. That's just how I think it works, okay? Now, before I close out this video, I want to give you guys a few statistics because this is the other thing that keeps going around and I want to put an end to it. And if you guys want to look this up on your own, I'm going to put this up while I talk about it. You can go to statista.com. They have a slew of statistics up there on anything you can think of, but I pulled two very interesting statistics, and I pulled these two because these are the ones that they continue perpetuating to communicate to the Black community to make them feel like they're victims and they're so oppressed, okay? So I looked up the statistic on people shot by the police, okay? Here we go. This statistic chart goes from 2017 to 2021. So I'm gonna read 2017, 2020, and 2021. Starting with the highest race group that gets killed by police. White people. White people, okay? Here's the numbers. In 2017, 457 white people were shot by the police. In 2020, and again, you can look at all the years in between as I put it up here. In 2020, it was the same number, 457 white people killed by police. In 2021, now keep in mind, 2021 is not all the way through. 50 white people have been killed by the police, okay? Shot by the police, sorry, not killed, shot. The second group, Black people. In 2017, 223 Black people were shot by the police. Now remember, in 2017, 457 white people were shot by the police. So that's almost double the number of white people versus Black people. In 2020, there were 241 Black people shot by the police. And in 2021, there were 30. So the number of people shot by police this year is 20 less than how many white people have been shot by police this year. The Hispanic number, because I got to represent my people, in 2017, 179 Hispanic people were shot by police. I have a theory on that because I am Hispanic and I will tell you, my mom all the time used to threaten to kill me. Now I say that, please don't call the police. But she used to tell me just preemptively, okay, if you step out of line, I will go to jail for your murder. So here's the thing, okay? If you're a Hispanic person, your mama will kill you before the police will. Trust and believe that. In 2020, 169 Hispanic people were shot by the police. And in 2021, 20 have been shot by the police. Now, the other statistic I'm going to throw up here really quick is the COVID deaths by race, because if they're not talking about how the police are killing you, they're talking about how COVID is killing you. So let me just give those numbers really quick, okay? By 60.9%, white people are the highest race to have died of COVID. Now, if you think back, what have they been preaching? COVID affects, what do they call us? Black and brown people the most. Okay, well, Hispanics, 18.6%, Blacks, 14.6%, and Asians, 3.9%. Blacks are not even number 2 on the death rate list by COVID, okay? So I'm just going to throw that out there. You guys do what you want of the information. I gave my 2 cents on Daunte Wright. I'm done with it. I hope people wake the hell up and get as sick of the lies as I am, because otherwise you're going to continue to see this type of thing occur all the time. Also ask yourself, why do they never talk about the crime that happens on black and black crime, not involving the police, but just people shooting each other? Nobody ever talks about that, okay? But again, you open your eyes and you will see that. If you want to keep your eyes closed and only see what you want to see, I can't help you. Let me know what you think in the comments box below. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, let me know why. I want to know why. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a good one. Bye-bye.